this is fine. If I can hear you with Andy, well, maybe we can back up a little bit so I can hear you better. What was your name again?
My name's Salvatore.
Salvatore, great. Are you from Detroit area?
Yes, I've lived in a few different cities around here.
Why are you out here protesting the war in Syria?
Because we've had a number of disastrous wars in the Middle East, from Iraq to Libya, and all they've done is cost us American lives, money, not to mention the lives of people there, and it empowered radical Islamists like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. So by bombing the Syrian government, which is the only force fighting ISIS on the ground, we are, by proxy, supporting ISIS.
So why do you think that the president of Syria felt profited by gassing people? Do you
here's
think
the thing,
I
do not think he did it.
Okay.
Absolutely not, because logically it doesn't make sense. There's no evidence, first of all. Second of all, they're winning the war against these terrorists. There's a peace talks going on in the UN. So using chemical weapons now on a minor target and inviting the West to invade and attack and destroy their government, it makes no sense and it's illogical. And the rebels have been documented to use gas and chemical weapons a number of times in the last 2 years. It was most likely Al-Qaeda, or as they're called in Syria, Al-Nusra Front.
So do you think that the pictures of the dead babies is what pushed everybody to decide that we should bomb and that it's all right to bomb, or what is it that pushed us over the edge?
I believe they've wanted to bomb Syria for years. Obama did, Hillary Clinton did, and Donald Trump. He said he didn't, but clearly that's a lie.
Did you know that Betsy DeVos is brothers with Eric Prince, who is the founder of Blackwater? That's the mercenary. You know who they are?
Yes, oh yeah.
That is the mercenary group that profited so much from the Iraqi war. Did you know that he met for Trump just before he took office in January in a remote island?
Really?
Yeah, he met with them. It was he met with Russians there, and that was in the Washington Post. So if you think I'm being a conspiracy theorist,
well, the thing about the Russia thing is now the U.S. is on a direct course to fight Russia.
Yes.
So
or
I advocate peace with Russia, and I think Russia's role in Syria is a positive one.
You do?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to say, or any other comments?
Sure. I'm with Students and Youth for a New America.
Okay.
We're a relatively new group of young people who want to see our country be rebuilt, to be changed, and not to attack other countries and waste our resources.
Yes. So you believe in a good future.
I believe that this is the only future we can have. Is this one.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's ruins.
Well, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm here with. Who am I here with again?
You're here with Adele with Workers' World Party and Michigan People's Defense Network.
You're the ones that actually sponsored this march, aren't you? Because that's where I got my invitation from.
Yep.
So you're a socialist? Is that what that is?
I still need to study up more, but I'm very sympathetic to a lot of socialist ideals. I definitely consider myself anti-capitalism. I think capitalism is the root of many of our societal ills today.
Why do you think the president of Syria would gas his own people? How did it benefit him to do that? Do you know?
That's the billion-dollar question. We don't think it would benefit him at all to gas his own people. We believe that other groups sponsored by the U.S. used the chemical weapons and that it was not an attack that was done by the government. The Syrian government, with the help of Russia, confiscated all of their chemical weapons back in 2014. If that is to believe, then they should not even have any chemical weapons.
Maybe he made some more. Maybe he just hates those people, and that's why. I mean, what logic would be for him to do it?
I don't know why he would want America to invade. That's why we don't believe that the attack was carried out by the Syrian government. Did you believe them when we were told that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and that was used as a reason to invade Iraq?
Wait a minute.
And then we found out later that that was a lie.
And wasn't that a Republican Bush that was not elected by a popular vote, but rather by the Electoral College?
Coincidence?
Yeah, coincidence? I don't know.
Our democracy
Maybe we
is
need
broken.
to get rid of the Electoral College. Just think we would have had Al Gore instead of Bush, and we would have Hillary Clinton instead
But
of
I
Trump.
think even if we had had Al Gore or Clinton, it's the same system. They would still, one way or another, find a way to meddle in the Middle East to benefit our oil interests at home so that people here can make a lot of money off of people suffering abroad.
Yeah, so it's a matter of money, of who's making the money as to when we're going to bomb somebody.
Absolutely.
Okay, do you have anything to say about it?
Thanks for videoing me.
Sure, well, thank
Power
you.
to the people.
Thank you.
Solidarity.
Yeah. Okay, I found somebody who is actually from Syria, right? So I can find out what the real deal is. What was your name?
My name is Melissa.
How do you feel about the bombing? What happened with the bomb?
The chemical bombs,
First
it's
off.
not the first time that they were dropped on innocent civilians. Assad, whether backed by Russia or whether on his own, he has historically dropped 6 or 7 times chemical bombs on his people. So it's terrible. It has never been justified. It's illegal, and it's just immoral. And he does not care about his people at all. Where was the justification of the last one? It was you had kids dying, choking, losing control of all their muscles, losing control of all their free, thoughts. It's disgusting.
Why do you think that he would use another weapon, even though he got in trouble for that before, and they were supposed to confiscate all of them? Why do you think that he would go against that and do it again?
You mean back in 2012?
No, I mean like 3 days ago. Oh well, not 3 days ago, but a week ago or whenever that was.
What people need to understand about Assad is that the Assad regime has always been choking the Syrian people. They have never cared once about the people except for their supporters, and even then it was Seiki. He feels, from what I have seen, after America has said, you are not a priority anymore, he drops the chemical weapons. He feels that one of his biggest opponents, who used to be us, even though, but we were, under Obama, we were, primarily anti-Assad. After Trump comes in and says, well, you're not a priority, the chemical weapons drop, and it is, you can't say it's not a coincidence at all.
So do you think that when Tillerson said that the Assad regime would stay for now, or whatever it was and how he worded it, do you think that, because it was just a few days before they dropped that bomb that he said.
Tillerson is, something's not right with him. He doesn't even want the job. He is connected to this whole Trump-Russia thing.
I heard his wife made him.
Yeah, his wife made him do it. How are you gonna, which is a whole nother load of crap. How are you gonna lead diplomacy and you don't want to do it? Clearly, with this whole Trump-Russia thing, something dark is going on. But it's clear, anyone can see that he comes, he says, you're not a priority. What does Assad do? With the backing of the second strongest military, which is Russia, he bombs his own people with chemical weapons.
Okay. So then,
and it was the deadliest chemical weapon attack so far in the war.
Do you think he wants the war to end? Do you think
Assad?
Yeah.
I think he wants control again, and I think he wants control again over his people.
Okay.
And he has always wanted control over his people. He has never. This whole war started because peaceful protesters, peaceful youth.
Arab Spring?
No, not even the Arab Spring. Maybe as an outcome of the Arab Spring. But it was peaceful protesters who came out and they said, we don't want Assad anymore. They saw the Arab Spring. They said, we can do that here. he goes, he retaliates, he bombs. I think he bombed a school, and
It just escalated from there.
that's how
Massacre
it.
with Hamas really early on, where they killed 175.
I don't. I was young back then. I don't remember that.
Do you are you glad then that Trump had them drop the bomb?
When I first heard the news, I was happy because, first off, under Obama, he has been complicit. I will never forgive Obama for what he has not done, and what he has done and what he has not done. I will never forgive Obama. The Syrians will never forgive Obama. In fact, 2012, when you had Mitt Romney, who was an idiot running, the Syrians were crying. They were saying, please let him win because he can do something. You know?
Okay.
So under Obama, screw that
You
guy.
don't think
No,
that he was
I think
helpful at all?
Obama with his foreign policy was
So
terrible.
do you think that the war should escalate? Do you
I
think
think-
that
no,
we should
I
be
think-
fighting against the Russian side of the war, or what?
With Syria, it's so complicated. What needs to be done, in my opinion, when I heard the news that Trump bombed, I was happy. I was happy because, you know, when I first heard it, I was happy because someone is finally a big government is finally standing up to Assad and saying, what you're doing is, you know, first off, I don't believe anything Trump says. I don't believe he did it for the children. I don't believe he did it for the women. But again, the guy, he's crazy. He is a serial liar, so you don't know what to believe. But later, when I thought about it, he did not call Congress. They did not go through. He
was at his golf course.
He was at his. I don't think he was at his golf course.
Yeah, he was. Or he was in Florida anyway. He wasn't.
He was.
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was. Wherever he was. We have a process in America when we go through war, and the last time we declared war was World War II, and every other war after that has been terrible. I'm happy that he has hurt Assad's forces. But America right now, we're facing a crisis anyway. So he can't go around and throw bombs wherever he wants to do his
Well, what do you think it was benefiting it? What was the benefit for Trump?
The
Do you think
benefit
it
for
could have
Trump.
anything to do with Blackwater and that Bessie DeVos and he's friends with Eric Prince, who's the founder?
I don't know what
or
that
anything?
whole Blackwater thing is. That's before my time.
No, well, yeah.
I'm not
It was in Iraq. They are the number one arms
I was
dealer.
The guys
I was
that,
a kid.
just did the drive-by on the market or whatever. I think I've heard of
They're
that.
the ones that the government hired them in Iraq
I was
as
a kid.
mercenary soldiers too.
I was a kid. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so
But
you
if I
don't
was
think
old-
there could be a profit motive? Is what I'm saying.
No, the guy's a warmonger. I mean, if Trump actually cared about the children and the woman who died, he would fund humanitarian aid. He would accept more refugees. He would not have done that botched raid in Yemen. He would not have been sending 5,000 bombs last month if he actually cared. So if he actually cared, he would have done all that. So look at his actions, not his words. That's what I'm saying. And Trump, look at the money Trump is making. Look at where it's coming from. Look at how the company that owned those rockets, it's profiting off of these. Iraq, all those people in Iraq.
Had any stock in that company just before
I
did that?
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
And at this point, I want the war to end. But I want the war to end, and I want the people to have peace, and I want to stop being scared every day that something's going to happen to my family.
Yeah.
But you can't just support any little thing he does. All that money that they used for the bombs, it hit one airport. None of it went to help the civilians. It was symbolic. It did nothing.
Yeah.
And they warned the Russians, who could have warned Assad, and they could have moved all that. And right now we don't know what's going on in Syria from America's side because he has pulled that information. So I want the war in Syria to end. I want the people to have peace, and I want Trump out. But I want it done in a way that is clean and
Impeachment?
impeachment would be great, but that's a whole nother issue. But it's just there's such a mess right now. You can't be like, I support the Assad regime because he's anti-imperialist. You can't say any of that. You have to look at the civilians. You have to ask, what do these civilians want?
Yeah.
What do these people need? And what they need is they need Assad out. They need Russia and America out. They need to have their humanity. They need to have their humanity restored. They need to have these bombs and these drones gone. They need to have all of that to be stopped.
Yeah.
And they need to have, all these terrorist groups, like ISIS, Al Qaeda, who only support their own ideology. They need to leave too. And it won't be solved with bombs. It won't be solved with bullets. It won't be solved. You need to protect these. You need to protect the people, and then you can talk about war.
Yeah.
That's
and
my.
More live and let live too over there a little bit.
You can't just go to war and just keep the people trapped there.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate. Do you have anything else you wanted to say or put in, add?
For the people who are saying you support anti-imperialism, but then you go ahead and you support the Assad regime, you support the Syrian army, you are making no sense. You are saying, I support the Assad regime, I support the U.S. You're not making any sense.
Okay.
Because you can be anti-America, you can be anti-imperialism, God knows a lot of people are, but you can't go and support any little thing, any little group that is anti that. You have to have clear morals, clear ethics, and no matter how complicated it gets, no matter how muddy it gets, no matter how little hope there is, you cannot drop your morals, you cannot drop your ethics, support anything that is anti.
That's great.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.